Hey everyone, Jessie from Speakeasy Pilates here. We're going to be doing a short workout for SI joint relief and low back relief using a reformer. The props that we're using today, if you have them, one hard lacrosse ball. If you don't have a lacrosse ball, you can skip it. And we're also using a booty band if you have it. All right, so this is for people who their low back, their back just isn't feeling all that great and they just feel tight and stiff and they just kind of want to mobilize and strengthen your midsection. Okay, so we're going to start by releasing your sacroiliac joint. We're going to lay down on the reformer. I've got my platform set up and I'm on one light spring and one medium spring. So let's go ahead and lay down. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift my booty up just a little bit, and I'm going to take this lacrosse ball and set it into my SI joint. So it's not on any bony landmarks. It's just in that space where the space between the butt and the back. And I'm just going to massage that ball around. And I can kind of move my legs here. And it feels kind of tight. So I'm going to breathe into that tightness. And move it around. And then just let it kind of hang there. It feels actually really good. I kind of feel it throughout my leg a little bit. And roll it around. This is just working that tissue, that connective tissue. Just relaxing it. Tissue gets really tight. It becomes dehydrated. It becomes gluey, sticky, whatever adjective you want to use. And then we can bring that ball over to the other side. If you don't have a ball, you can fast forward this section and just kind of give yourself a little massage. So we don't even realize how tight our tissues get until you lay on a lacrosse ball. Who would have thought? Woo. Now you can stay here for a long, long, long time, but in the interest of moving it along, we're going to take this lacrosse ball away, and I'm going to set that lacrosse ball on the floor. Now we're going to brace the back. So in general, if your back is sore, like if your back is kind of hurting and you're not sure why, one of the most important things you want to do is not really bend it or extend it too much, right? You want to keep it as straight as possible for the most part. So we're going to do something called the curl up. This exercise is lifted from Stuart McGill. He wrote this amazing book called Back Mechanic, and it kind of changed my understanding of the back and back pain. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to brace your abdomen. And when I say brace your abdomen, I want you to pretend that someone's going to come up and punch you in the stomach, okay? So you got to tighten up down there. My abs are nice and tight right now. I'm pressing my foot into this mat. My other leg is long, and I'm going to try to float my elbows up. My hands are underneath my tailbone. And then without rounding through my back, I'm going to, let's see if I can do this. I'm bracing my abs, and I'm going to lift my head up. And I'm going to try to take some breaths here. Now, my neck is weak, so I don't know if Stuart McGill would appreciate this, but I have to put a hand behind my head. And so what I'm trying to do is just breathe. I'm going to hold it for about 10 seconds, and then I'm going to come back down. I'm going to take another breath, and I'm going to come up. I'm looking right at the ceiling. I'm floating my elbow. I'm bracing my back. I'm bracing my torso. I'm trying to build strength in my torso without a lot of flexion or extension because I want to protect my back my whole life. Inhale. And come back down. All right, let's do one more round, okay? Hand behind the head. If you need it, if your neck is strong, you probably don't. I have the neck of a twig. Okay, let's empty the lungs to repair. Inhale. We're going to lift up. Look at the ceiling. I'm bracing my stomach. My foot is flexed. My leg is long. I'm breathing. Torso engagement. I'm trying to build a support system for my spine. Let's do one more breath. And come back down. Good. I'm going to rotate my head just a little bit. And then let's go ahead and just do that on the other side. You know, and I'm actually going to take this block out just because it's in my way. You can if you want to, or you can leave yours in. All right, I'm going to place that hand behind my head just because like my weak neck. Okay, so let's take a big inhale. So that other leg bends. Let's lift up and take some deep breaths. Inhale. Bracing the abs. And come back down. Take an inhale. Let's just rest for a little bit, shall we? Okay, are you ready? Here we go. Let's inhale and come on up. Elbow floating. Neck is long. Inhale and exhale. We're going to do one more, but when you do these on your own, I'd like you to try to work up till about 8 sets or 8 reps total. We're just going to do 3 or 4 today. Inhale and let's exhale. Bring it all the way up. I'm looking at the ceiling. I'm not flexing my spine. I'm not jamming my low back into the mat. So I'm preserving that lumbar curve. Inhale. And exhale. Now, I encourage you to do more of those on your own. You can stop the video. But in the interest of moving on, let's go ahead and return this block. Whoop. Okay, let's go ahead, come back down, and we're going to now put our feet up on the foot bar, and I'm going to put this booty band around my my knees, up above my knees. All right, we're going to do some gentle bridging here, nothing crazy. So let's not emphasize too much flexion or extension in that spine. All right, what we're going to do is we're just going to try to lift up just a little bit. And we've got light tension on those springs. And I'm just going to gently pull my knees apart because a lot of low back pain comes from having glutes that are switched off. The glutes no longer fire. So we always want to incorporate glute work with anything to do with, you know, low back stuff, low back pain. Sometimes you may feel this in your hamstrings, and that's a result of usually having a weak butt. All right, so we don't want to overdo it. I'm going to bring my tailbone down. I'm going to widen my feet just a little bit more. And then I'm going to go up for another set. All right, like you can see, I'm not really extending and I'm not flexing too much. My back is relatively neutral, even though that booty is lifted. The other thing you can do, if this is uncomfortable for you, you can also just bring your feet down onto this little mat and just work those glutes this way. So I'm just flaring that band. And I'm still got that braced stomach, okay? So it's tight. If someone came along and punched me in the stomach, I would have a contraction already there. All right, now I'm just going to flare my right knee, just the right knee. My left knee is stable. And all I'm trying to do here is just turn on those glutes, strengthen those glutes. The glutes are really the powerhouse of the body, I think. And let's switch. So left leg flares in and out. If at any point this becomes way too much, you could always just take a break and come back when you're ready. Let's try to get those glutes on. All right. One more. All right, now let's hold it here and add a tiny little pulse. Pulse, pulse, pulse. You got it, you guys. Little tiny bridges. You guys feeling this in your glutes yet? All right, let's add a little knee flare with the pulse. So it's one pulse, one knee flare. One pulse, one knee flare. So by now, I'm definitely feeling this in my seat. Are you? Good. Strong glutes, strong back. That's what we want. You can't have a strong back without having strong glutes. You also want your hips to be nice and open. That's also going to protect your back. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Let's hold it here and little pulse, pulse, pulse. 5, 6, 7, and 8. Good. Now you can stay here as long as you want. You can pause the video and just keep hip thrusting if that feels good for you. But for the purpose of keeping this video short, we are going to take this booty band off. All right, take the booty band off. And the next exercise that we're doing is feet in the straps. We're going to use feet in the straps as a way to open up your hips. So let's do this one on one heavy spring and one either medium spring or one light spring. So one heavy, one medium, or one light. Here we go. Let's go ahead and lie back. You're going to grab those straps and put them around your feet. And we're just going to treat this as a hip opener, right? That's all we want. So let's lower those legs. We're going to try to brace the belly. Keep the belly braced. You can place your hands on your hips. And let's do a little frog. Let those knees flare out. And then I'm squeezing my inner thighs together. So I got that natural curve in my back. I'm not jamming my back into the mat. Just we're trying to work in neutral here as much as possible in that spine. Now let's fold those knees, and I'm just going to bring them into 90 degrees. I don't want to pull those knees all the way to my chest because that might be too much on my low back. Maybe be too much of a stretch, depending on where you're at. There we go. Now I'm going to widen my feet. I'm going to pretend that I'm on a horse, and I'm going to trot the horse. My knees are wide, my feet are wide, and I might even flip my palms up to the ceiling so I can maintain a nice open shoulder joint. Right? Usually we fold in on our shoulders with all the slumping over we do. So most back pain comes from poor posture. It also comes from repetitive use or just improper movement patterns. So if we can learn to stabilize our spine, we are going to feel so much better. I'm going to keep my legs open and hinge those legs up to like a V shape. My legs are wide, and I'm going to lower my legs and tap my heels together and up. So I like to think of this as a hip opener. Open those hips nice and wide. Bracing my stomach. Sometimes your jaw will seize up as you're doing this, so try to keep your face relaxed. There we go. Now let's try an upside down V. So I'm going to internally rotate my thighs. So now I'm in a pigeon toe. My thighs are rotated toward each other, which is going to bring my toes toward to touch. So I'm going to maintain this internal rotation as I open my legs and then I tap my toes. How does that feel in your hips? How does it feel in your low back? If it hurts, of course, don't do it. If you experience any pain whatsoever, stop. And now we can take a little corkscrew shape, or not corkscrew, but like a Cheerio shape. So I'm tapping my pigeon toes, and then I'm going to tap my heels, tap my pigeon toes, and tap my heels. Now, what I'm thinking about is moving that femur around that hip socket. And you know what? It feels amazing. I'm still bracing my stomach. Okay, guys, let's bring those legs up. Now, if this is open to you, go ahead and open those legs out to the side. And then just kind of breathe here. Yes, let those hips open. Just find a little bit of relief here. And we're going to bring those legs together in a leg circle. Up, open side. Up, open side. Good. One more. All right, let's reverse. 2, 3, 4. Good. Now let's get into that hip flexor. This will be our last little exercise here. So let's just pump those legs kind of quick, 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 quick. But I'm not pulling my knees all the way into my chest. Here we go. How about 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring it in. Good. Now let's carefully take off these straps. Okay, great job. Let's go ahead and lengthen out and jog the feet. Why? We're just rinsing out, getting ready for the next exercise. All right, so let's go ahead. We got to do a little spring change on this. We're going to give you guys a Soaz stretch eventually. So let's switch to one heavy spring. So you're taking off your light spring or your medium spring. Now I want you to take your right strap and put it around your left foot. So now we're on a diagonal. Okay, so this strap is going to try to pull you around. It's going to try to pull you over to the right. We are going to resist against that. If that is too much, I want you to take the strap and put it on your same side foot. So your right foot in this case. Okay, so we're going to work. It's like you're marching here. Again, let's not pull those knees into the chest. We're going to keep that spine as long as possible. And I want you to pedal your legs like you're riding a bicycle. And we can pedal the other way. So this is just a little exercise in maintaining spinal control. My stomach is still braced. Now we're going to do a little scissor here. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. If you have the coordination, bring it into a little helicopter. Whoop. It's like your legs are the blades of a chopper. Woo. If your hip pops like mine just did, maybe adjust the angle of your foot. Oof. Let's do one more. Okay. Now this is the real reason why I brought you into this move. We're going to do a little Soaz stretch here. So one leg lengthens up to the ceiling and your bottom leg reaches inside the well. Now I want you to extend. I guess I got to take my block out again for this one. I want you to extend that same side arm away, and I want you to make a fist. We're trying to stretch this right here. Your psoas, your iliacus, otherwise known as your hip flexors. Boy, do they get tight. I'm going to rotate that wrist, fist around. You can open it up out to the side. Ooh, if it feels good, open that leg out to the side. Try not to let your butt lift, though. Keep that booty down. Yeah, that feels kind of amazing. Hip flexor release. How about one more big stretch here? Oopsie, I'm going into a little bit of an extension. I don't want that. Not for today's class. Let's try to keep that back as neutral as possible. Okay, good one, you guys. Let's take the strap off. We're going to switch to the other leg. Put it on. Same thing. Okay, let's find that stable spine. All right. And let's bend and press. 1, 2, bracing your abdomen. 3, 4, 5. Separate those legs and let's bend and press for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And we bicycle pedal. So you really have to think about what you're doing on this one because your spine wants to move, but we are going to resist against that, or rather your torso wants to move. If the heavy spring, if the red spring, the heavy spring is too much, maybe try this one on a medium. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to do that little scissor like we did on the other side. So all of this is like good hip lubrication, core control, spinal stability. Nice. Good. Now, if you want to, you can try a little helicopter. If that's not working for you, skip it. Here we go. And one more. Now we're going to do that awesome hip flexor stretch. Let's slip that opposite foot inside the well. All right. And I guess I got to take this one off. And then I'm going to reach that arm over my head. And I'm going to keep my spine neutral. All right. You know what? I might even bend this right knee just so I can get into that hip flexor just a little bit more. All right, let's try to keep that back neutral. Open that arm out to the side. Open that leg out to the side if that is appropriate for you. I feel extra tight today. One more deep breath. So when we have those tight hip flexors, it puts a lot of extra load on the back. So anytime we can open them up, we just feel better. All right, let's take that off. Okay, how are you guys feeling so far? All right, we're gonna do the bird dog, which is also, I stole this from Stuart McGill's Big Three in his back exercise book, his back health book. So you guys have probably all done the bird dog, but let's just try to do it correctly, okay? So I'm going to place my hands right underneath my shoulders. My knees are right underneath my hips, and I'm going to try to keep that nice neutral spine. So not this, and definitely not this. All right. My neck is nice and long. We're going to break it into pieces. All right. This is one of his essential exercises for back health. I'm going to extend that left leg long, but I'm not going to arch my back. And I'm going to bring it in and extend. And I am actually trying to push my heel away, right? So I'm even feeling this in the back of my knee, my calf, and it actually feels really good. Now I feel pretty strong. I mean, I've been doing bird dog for a little while. So I'm going to go ahead and layer in my right arm, my opposite arm. You, if that's not open to you, just do your arm by itself. And then you can gradually build up to your leg and opposite arm. Okay, so do something that works for you. Here we go. Right arm, left leg. Now I'm thinking about my lats on my right side and my left glute. And I'm going to bring it in, but I'm not going to round my back. I'm keeping my back as neutral as I can. I'm thinking about all those little stabilizers in my low back. We are trying to strengthen all those little back muscles in the low back. Do we need a reformer to do this exercise? No, not necessarily. But to make it harder, let's go ahead and bring it in, rotate it around. If you want to add more challenge to this, take the spring and adjust it. I'm going to put it on a white spring, a light spring for this next one. If you're brand new to this, just stick with the spring that you were on. But if you want more challenge, make the surface less stable. Okay. So I put myself on my lightest spring, and I'm actually going to push my carriage out a little bit so it's not closed. So I have to control more. All right, so I'm screwing my hands into the ground. I've got that nice neutral back, and I'm going to extend my left leg. Oop, it's probably too high, and bring it in. Left leg, and I'm trying not to move my carriage. We'll do one more, and then we're going to add that opposite arm. All right, here we go. Extend and pull it in. And 3. And 4. Let's do one more. And bring it all the way in. You can close the carriage up. And let's go ahead and just rotate those wrists around. And then I'm going to put my blocks back in. Then the last exercise we're going to do, I'm going to stay on this light spring. If you're new, right, and you're still kind of feeling things out, you'll want to do this one on a medium spring. So let's just all switch to one medium spring, just so we're all doing the same thing. Okay. Now this is another exercise that I lifted from Mr. McGill or Dr. McGill. I'm not sure which it is. I'm sure it's a doctor. This is the side plank. This is another essential exercise for back health. All right, so what we're going to try to do is keep the spine as neutral as possible. And I'm lifting up. I don't have a lot of bend. All right, now if you feel good, let's add a tiny little hip dip too. So I'm not making it big, all right? Let's assume that your back is not feeling great. All right. So you can either hold this position or you come out of it, keeping your back neutral, okay? And you want to go again? Here we go. Let's lift up and hold it. Bracing your stomach, as always. That stomach pretty much always has to be braced, I'm sorry to tell you. Feel good? Okay. Bring it down. Try not to bend the back too much. And we'll do one more, right? You could do 50 of these if you wanted to. Okay, nice neutral spine. If you're feeling adventurous and you want to extend that leg, yeah, you can. You can add a little leg lift. Let's go for 3. If you're not doing the leg lift, totally fine. All right, and let's bend and gently come all the way down. Woo. Okay. Let's just rinse out a little bit before we go on to the other side. We're almost done. We're just going to finish up with that hip hinge on the other side, or that the side plank. Okay. So setting up. All right. Let's try not to bend or extend the spine. You can lay your arm, your hand down on that mat if you would like, or lift it up to the ceiling, whatever you have the strength for. And you just hold this. If you have the strength and the stability, you can add a tiny little hip lift. You're pushing into your elbow. And then we can bring it in without too much bend in the back. Okay, that's 1. We got 2 more. You ready? Okay, guys, let's lift up. Strong, healthy body, strong joints, strong back. An SI joint that is not sticky and sore. That's what we're going for here. I'm actually trying to widen my ribs as I do this. Bring it in. Now for this last one, if you want to add that leg extension, you can. You ready? Here we go. Let's extend. All right, I'm shooting energy out of my feet and my hand. So everything is on. And 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We got it. And 8. Carefully bring it all the way in. Okay. Okay. So you can do this exercise. You can do this, once a day, a couple times a week. You can add more reps as you go along, as you get stronger. And then it's also very important to incorporate a walking routine in your back recovery. Walking is nature's balm, right? It strengthens and massages the joints. And a fast walk is better than a slow walk. Something about fast walking is just better for the back than a slow walk, because usually when you slow walk and your arms aren't moving, you're kind of slumped over. But if you fast walk and you have your chest out and you're using those arms, you're stimulating the spinal column, right? And movement is better than no movement. Okay, so thank you for checking this out, and until next time, see ya.